Look at I need to come out here. I got the Corvette, you gotta be on track. And I got guy in jail or what? Hands behind your back, sir. Come on. Hi, I'm Rob Dahm. Many of you have known me as Bob Dahm in recent videos. And guys, we did it. And not only have we done it, we are back. Okay, we'll stop there. Because I don't know what So I don't know about you guys, but when I get information overload, when I see so much information, almost a circle jerk of information about something, I tend to hate it. And that was what was about to happen with this car. We made it. We made it to LS Fest. Not this shirt, but the 13B LS swap shirts. It had a meaning. Like, everything worked. It was a pain in the ass, but we did it. The thing is that the internet went wild, and honest to God, I get sick of seeing my own name a lot, honestly. What I am not sick of is this Corvette. We literally, this is not like an exaggeration, we, Jarrett and I, drove back out in Vegas, hungover, from partying with our friends, because we made it. Parked this in the garage that evening, slept for like 2 hours, and then flew out, and that's when I did the whole Supra thing, and we've been gone for 3 weeks. You hear a lot of people talk about like YouTuber burnout, and this was no exception. We were pulling all those all-nighters, things were crazy, life was amazing, but we needed to rest up. I went and watched Francis Field, my good friend, get married, and then sat at home and babysat raccoons. Okay, that's adorable. Well, this has definitely been quite the day. Yeah, no, I'm sorry. You're obviously the oldest brother or whatever. The other two are way nicer than you. So, while I was playing father figure, this car was sitting, but this is literally the first moment we're back. We're here. This is the Corvette as you saw it, and what I want to do is tell you guys a lot about what the plans are for this, for the vehicle over there. Some of you may know that car, and the overall plans of the channel. I will tell you right now, as you may be able to tell just by looking at the number of views of all of our recent videos, things are on fire. The channel's going great. You guys were heavily supportive of those shirts, which also went back into helping make this a reality. If you guys are on Patreon, you guys have been very patient, but you guys already know that there's a second four-rotor coming for that vehicle. That's a $55,000 purchase that came out of nowhere. And of course, while that one's going on, the initial engine's getting finished too. So there's some pure insanity that's about to happen there. But what I'm about to do is what's called project management. We're gonna continue pushing this car while the four-rotor is being built, because that's gonna be a progress, pause. This, on the other hand though, is gonna be a lot more fun in more small, manageable doses. This is, I would assume, maybe about 400 horsepower for about 16 pounds of boost running on pump gas. It's time to follow through on all of the claims that we made. Over there, in that corner there, our worst enemy. Jarrett didn't even know that was over there because I spent all last night cleaning while he played video games. He was chopping off other guys' heads in
Mordhouse?
Yeah, whatever, loser. Actually, it looks pretty sick. Because one of my biggest complaints about like sword or like lightsaber games is, clipping, same movement, but that game you actually angle the weapon anyway.
Did you get paid by them to talk about it?
I should, thank you, yeah. Like, I'm actually repping it. I haven't even played the damn game.
You're repping the game already?
Like, what up, that game's awesome. And so, while he was doing that, I was cleaning, so the garage is clean. The first step here, because this is more of a plan of attack, and I still gotta fire the car up in this video because I haven't heard it in forever. I'm sure it doesn't sound like a Cam V8 anymore. I'm sure it sounds still like a Rotary. Is to make the horsepower and torque on the whole curve more than Mr. LS6 over there. The awesome part about all of this, and I'm speaking preemptively, but I think many of you can tell that we're gonna be working with Holly, the guys that organized LS Fest, because the way they responded to that last video of being there was nuts.
Oh my God!
Oh shit!
Oh, sorry. Oh. Oh my God.
From a business standpoint, that was one of the smartest things anybody could have done, and we've forged a really awesome relationship. They are actually going to help I'm guessing, even the Rotaries make more power with the variety of products that they have available. Because Holley, if you Google them, owns like 30 different brands, including nitrous, and many of the others. So a lot of those products are needed in these cars. Much less, they're also, I'm sure, trying to show me that LS6 is worth something, not a damn. But enough talk. You guys hear me talk all the damn time. Poor Jarrett has to hear me talk even when we're not filming. Let's fire this thing up. What happened? I think a lot of people aren't too clear on what exactly happened at LS Fest because we weren't clear until after the fact. The turbo, with the oil melted the return line, which then soaked the blanket, my PTP turbo blanket, in oil, which then caught on fire. Taking the blanket off, solving that problem, caused another problem. The heat rose when the moment the car sat at LS Fest, it was cooking the shit out of the wires right there. Of all the wires that it melted the most, it melted my crank angle sensor, my trigger wheel. This is how I solved it. I happened, because this is a three...
What the fuck is that?
Dude, you were passed out. So Jarrett was passed the fuck out in the parking lot. What hotel were we at? So we were in the parking lot at the Palazzo, and huge thanks to the security guard there. He hung out with me for the 2 hours while I was rewiring all of this. I took a spare shielded pair and spliced it in, and then depinned the ECU and did all this in a parking lot while all these people were also hungover walking by. So I did all that, and then we made it home. I think one of the most insane things was seeing Instagram. I knew for sure the moment that this car was unveiled at LS Fest and whatnot, I knew, or even just driving and idling, I knew I would see all the rip-off Instagram channels take my content. And you know what, fair game, because you know why I love that? You guys do a kick-ass job at talking shit to them. Well, whose video is this? And you guys always do a good job at that. I really appreciate that because it keeps those guys in check. I love that I'm a larger creator because I can bully these stupid, shitty Instagram, what up, follow the squad shit pages, because they always take your content and then act like that's our squad, follow the fam. Shut the fuck up. You guys suck ass. I hate those channels. Little bit pissy to start up, but there you go. It hasn't even warmed up yet, and she's perfectly idling at whatever, 800 RPM.
What do you think that sound was?
It's got to be like the throwout bearing or clutch. It's got to be out in that area. It's not the engine or anything like that. It's drivetrain.
Well, three-rotor used to do it too,
yeah,
right?
it's the same clutch. It's from the three-rotor clutch. So there's something that's always been squealing. It's always been making that noise. So this engine does not have any sort of urethane mounts, rubber, any sort of vibration controlling engine mounts. Those are hardwired to the subframe. That's stable as shit. That turbo it's already spooling. Hear it. That little bit. Oh, I love that turbo. You don't even understand. It sounds really good. I'll be honest. I had no idea what this was going to sound like. We literally got it revved, we got it all set up, and then that was it. We had no, if it sounded good, it sounded good. If it didn't, it didn't. And there's no resonator, there's none of that. So this is just raw two-rotor noise. Let's be honest, that sounds good, but it's the turbo that makes me swoon. Let's give her some beans. Oh my God. So one of the mistakes that we've got going on right now that we need to tune, it's not an actual mistake, it's just a temporary one, is both of the tile wastegate and the blow-off valve both have springs in them, and you want to adjust accordingly. Well, the blow-off valve at this moment without load is not firing off. When, if you remember in the video before, we didn't really explain it, but it was having so much boost that the blow-off valve was just opening. We went and made the opposite problem, and so now you're hearing compressor surge as that turbo lets off. It's the air is coming back out through the turbo, which makes me want to cry. I spent, whatever, 4 years with an old GT 35R, and nothing ever happened to it, but who doesn't love having a blow-off valve instead of compressor surge? That's enough Rotary Corvette for the moment. At least this isn't leaded fuel. We have all the carcinogens in our lungs right now and our eyes, but at least it's not lead. So something else that I absolutely love about this thing is the electronic water pump. It's got that controller right here. So this thing stays on another 2 minutes, I think it is, after the car turns off, because the way I wired it keeps power. And sure enough, it helps keep the system running. Instead of having hot spots and boiling coolant, which if you don't have enough coolant in your rotary, you start boiling it, especially when you're dealing with a thermostat that's not completely permeable. If you don't put a hole in it, you end up having problems. In this case, it just continues cycling it for a little bit until it's happy. And I'll be honest, that has been one of the greatest bonuses to this build over any of my existing ones. As many of you know, this is the infamous four-rotor core. This is the eccentric shaft, and it is a three-piece of metal. It is not light at all, but this is the heart of the four-rotor. All of the orbs, the lobes, 90 degrees from each other. This has been the center of my dream for a very long time. As many of you know, this was misplaced a long time ago. This isn't the important part of the engine at all. This has been in my hands for a long time. But, and I'm not gonna knock precision engineering, but I'm a very transparent guy. These are the engine bolts that Precision supplies with the four-rotor package. This is me speaking personally. I think they're kind of weird, especially when, what is that? It's a nut welded onto the end of this. So not the biggest fan of what I got for the money, and these will not be used in my four-rotor. So I'm actually beginning to get a series of things that were originally part of my four-rotor, but are no longer. Those are getting replaced with a very, very expensive high-end set of custom bolts that's coming through Able, so FR Performance. If you guys, I don't think he's not retailing them right now, but you'll see the amount of power that we're gonna put down with my block. That's gonna be a big part of it. Another thing is these irons, a lot of them are getting replaced as well. So the majority of this block, which has looked like it's finished, is not. I have everything to literally finish it, but we're actually gonna be taking the majority of this apart and not using that. I am not one who likes having a shifting goal, shifting target. I like to hit my scope, I like to be done, I'm a business guy, and then upgrade from there. But thankfully, because of my dear friend Carl, Fat Boy Drift, if you guys check him out, we got some very, very serious firepower coming. I have been waiting on the heart of this project for a long time, and what's better than having one four-rotor? Two. You know, right? I mean, that makes sense. So to keep this vehicle running, because it is going to be quite the media machine, we're going to have the two motors in here. The lower of the two motors is capable of 1,500 horsepower at the wheels, and the ultimate one that we've been building will be well over 2,000. So this is a very exciting time for all of us. This is insanely expensive. What I am doing here is not cheap. Fortunately, projects like the Corvette help offset that. So you guys being that sort of core audience that you see, look at the last 20 videos on the Corvette. They're all over 100,000 views. That core audience makes it possible to continue pushing on this project. It also helps make a Rotary Corvette, so win-win for everybody else. But I have to say that it is going to be sheer panic, insanity up until SEMA. It's just what it's going to be. I would say by probably end of June, you're gonna see one, if not two, finished four-rotor blocks in my possession. That means everything necessary to feed that block, the fuel system, the ignition system, everything has to come together. So not only am I spending all this money on the block, but I'm also now capable of spending even more money, yay, on all of the things that support it. We are going to be dynoing the engine outside of the car. We need to do this in phases, and I want to just isolate that, test the Adaptronic. As you guys know, Adaptronic has been a massive supporter of these, and that was what made the Corvette so easy to fire up. I literally loaded the base tune for Adaptronic and it fired up that first time. If any of you are in the SoCal area and are looking for the opportunity to do body work, if you're a body guy and you're looking for a project that you want to work on, get some visibility, maybe some trade-off there, I need somebody that does a lot of body work. And this is, you know, Bondo. This is the body that is going to make the carbon fiber mold. I have a lot of changes that I need done to this body. I need somebody that's going to be obsessive as I am to make those changes. So I want it doesn't have to be, it can be 5 layers of Bondo. I don't care. You can see how thick it is now. But I need somebody that's going to be willing to make the body, and then we take carbon fiber molds from that. So I've got, 25 areas marked up that we want to finesse and perfect the body, and then we're ready to make carbon fiber molds for this. We've got carbon fiber drivetrain. Everything's just coming together. This is all coming together. So between the Corvette and the Four-rotor, I want to thank all of you guys for making this channel what it is. And we're right back at the Insanity. I'm sure we're going to take another 2-week break after SEMA because of everything that's about to happen. So get ready, get set, let's make some power. That's cheesy.